Would you like to listen to Autumn in New York?
Delightful choice, sir.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our newly renovated living room after seeing extreme success in Sandbox startup. We were able to afford some lights
Some lights from Amazon
with a coupon.
with a coupon.
Black Friday sale.
Yes.
My name is Han Ji-pyong, and we have Namdo-san here, a fledgling
Well, this is Namdo-san,
programmer.
5 years later, who is now successful entrepreneur himself.
That's the turntable.
What the? Why'd you do that?
고맙다는 말은 그동안 당신한테 지칠 정도로 들었어요. 이미 갚고도 남아. 그리고 그 시절 나도 친구 하나 없었고 당신 편지로 꽤 위로받았으니까 우리 고마운 건 서로 퉁칩시다. 됐죠?
네.
당신 편지를 읽고도 15년이나 난 당신을 찾지
The line of
않았지만
the drama.
Yeah.
There.
남도산 씨는 편지를 읽은
Good
그날
results right there.
스스로 당신을 찾아갔어요. 그러니까 그 편지의 남도산은 내가 아닙니다.
Dude, it's
Yo,
a refreshing
미안할
character.
He won.
He did, yeah.
He won this whole
자책할 것도
drama
없어요.
Yeah.
with the scene.
Dude, I would fall in love with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a girl would fall in love with him after that. What a man. What a man.
That's so refreshing because
It
like
is.
usually guys are very sore loser about it
uh,
after 4 years.
wait, so let's explain what happened here.
Okay.
So he didn't end up winning the girl.
He didn't. Yeah.
So the other guy won,
Yeah.
and he's allowing the break to occur.
Yeah.
And he's clearing up any ill feelings that,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
they might have for each other.
Yeah.
And he's the one who initiated them.
He himself was able to resolve what the big picture was. The fact is that the other guy deserved it
Mm-hmm.
more than he did, and he was like, I'm just gonna acquiesce. I'm gonna
Acquiesce.
acquiesce. Acquiesce.
Acquiesce.
Acquiesce.
Got it.
Acquiesce. I'm gonna acquiesce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. No, I respect his character a lot.
Yeah. Would you do that? Would you do that after like liking a girl for so long and she chooses the other guy?
I have resolved, even after I didn't have to.
Oh, what did you do?
Some people might say it's like overkill to have closure to things
Mhm.
that might not need closure.
Yeah.
I am the type to regret more not doing something.
Yeah.
Just the way that I approach things, I don't like to have things that linger on, and I feel like I have some control over some of the things that I can do to have that kind of closure.
Yeah.
The resolution that I get from that, even if it's not, a different result.
Mhm.
For example, like if I liked somebody and she ended up going to somebody else,
Yeah.
I try not to get butthurt over it and say, "Oh my God, what a biatch."
Yeah.
I don't think
'Cause
that
there are two
does
sides
it.
of stories.
Right. I don't think that does anything.
Yeah.
Coming to terms with things quickly is something that I try
Mhm.
to do.
Yeah.
Not just with relationships. It's so mentally draining to think about things
Yeah.
that linger on.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I admire what he did. I think a lot of people.
I think it takes a mature
It
adult.
does. It does to
Someone-
acknowledge
yeah.
one, a loss.
Mhm.
If you can look at it that way,
It's
it's
a
a
loss.
loss.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
loss.
it's a loss.
He doesn't seem bitter about it. He could end up going home and crying about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he tries to make the other person feel comfortable
Yeah,
about
yeah.
moving on.
Yeah.
And I respect that a lot.
Yeah,
and I
because-
think many people end up liking him
Yeah, yeah,
more
yeah.
because of what he did.
Not all relationships are gonna work out.
Yeah.
If you just take the mentality that like I'm a loser because I didn't come out with that person,
Right.
oh, you're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's
but-
too stressful.
But you realize that this is more complicated than a winner-loser sort of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, hey, some people are just meant to be, and some people are just not.
Right.
And I just happen to fall into the not category.
Yeah.
And my life can move on to even a better place. 'Cause-
Yeah.
But if you think that you're a loser, you're gonna be like so depressed.
Yeah.
You're gonna have like insecurity issues.
Mm.
But this is like a very like positive way to show like a clean sort of breakup in a sense.
Yeah.
And if that opposite person actually makes you feel like a loser for breaking up with you,
Mm.
there's something wrong with them.
Right.
Like as much as you have your set of problems, but
Yeah.
if they make you
Uh,
even worse,
then better off that you were.
better
with that
off
person.
that you are not with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people even ask us to make content about like how we move on from like broken relationships or
Mhm.
how we cope with stresses that seem to be out of our control.
Yeah.
And I think having quick resolution is one.
For sure. For sure.
Quick, honest resolution,
Yeah.
either with yourself or with another person that makes
Yeah.
you feel comfortable, is taking control of the
Yeah.
situation.
I mean, it's end of one type of relationship,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. At least personally, I don't think it should result to like an end of like a relationship. Period. I think it's always good to end in an amicable fashion.
If you can. Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I started to notice as a big turn on, turn off?
Mm-hmm.
How girls that I meet or how women that I meet talk about their exes if they choose to talk.
I don't like that.
No. How they choose to talk about them, I think can be the turn on or turn off.
for sure, for sure.
I mean, who feels great after breaking
No
up?
one, yeah.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
But how they handle, how they talk about someone that they knew so well,
Mm-hmm.
it speaks, I think, volumes. It
Yeah,
speaks volumes.
for sure.
And I'm not barring any like crazy situation
Yeah.
where they've been,
Mhm.
treated really maliciously. But
Yeah.
I've been turned off more than I've been turned on. To be
Yeah.
honest. Turned off about how they can so openly talk poorly about someone
Yeah.
that they once really liked.
Mhm.
There are certain situations that can lead
Mhm.
to someone to feel like that.
Yeah.
But I was on a date and we ended up talking about exes.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about that. I think it's generally something that you might want to avoid
Mhm.
in the early stages.
Mhm.
But it just came about organically, and
Yeah.
she was talking about her ex, but
Mhm.
she always like protected the guy.
I see.
Even when she was talking about
Yeah,
her
yeah, yeah.
struggles with
Yeah.
the guy, she was like, "But I think he wasn't really at the
Yeah, yeah.
same phase as me, so he was just working hard on his work and he
Of
couldn't really
course, of
focus."
course.
So I was like, "Wow, that's very mature."
Yeah, yeah, of course.
For you to talk about someone that
Yeah.
you broke up with.
Just because just because the relation didn't work out doesn't mean like that other party did something wrong or it's like a bad person.
Right.
Or sometimes they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but not all cases.
Right. Right.
But some people take it so personally.
Yeah. Like, how dare he throw me
Yeah,
away?
yeah, yeah. It's like
or like what
it's
is
like the loser
trash.
winner mentality.
So I think
Yeah.
basically wrapping up that point. I know this is not like how do guys approach
Yeah.
girls that they're interested in, but
Yeah.
this is such a mature way.
You know what I love about this drama? It's like it depicts guys who are like in the like 30s to late 30s. It shows maturity on how to handle like different scenarios
And the
social
development
dynamics.
of their maturity.
Yeah, and the development of their maturity that's more realistic and in touch with like sort of how a modern person ought to behave.
I see.
And that's I think something that I admire about the writing.
That's great. That's a good point. Obviously, not experts
Mhm.
on any of this.
Yeah.
We're offering perspective on how guys behave in certain situations.
certain situation to the girls that they like.
Right.
Very different situations.
Yeah. There's so many
Um,
factors that make it different
yeah.
for each thing.
It brought back a lot of memories for me.
What the drama did? Or
Yeah, the drama
talking about
just talking about this in a different scenarios.
yeah.
Like I've been there. I've done that. I've sort of saw my evolution
And how you handle
in
this.
how you handle this.
We talked a
situations.
little bit about it
Yeah,
in
yeah,
our other
yeah.
20s versus 30s vlog.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think we also have differences in the way that we see
For sure.
relationships
Yeah.
and how much investment or effort or how much
Yeah.
what the timeline might be
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
And I think that's different for everybody.
That is.
Yeah,
That
who
is.
knows? Maybe
Yeah.
when I'm as old as you are.
Yeah. Well, you're.
I'm 29. He's 30.
Well, you have like 3 months.
I have 4 months. Yeah, until
3
I'm 30.
months. 3 months.